No, not every match. No.
You see why I mute my phone?
Let's go. I ain't mad at him. Let him play his game.
Hold on, Pam. Before you start, it is the season finale, y'all.
Yeah.
Season
Made it.
7.
Could nothing stop us.
This was a
pandemic.
This was a very tough season, but we managed to get it done, man.
We got it done, yo. Shout-outs to you.
Shout-outs to us. Shout-outs to Zoom. The creators of Zoom.
All right.
Yes.
This is brought to you by Zoom, literally.
Man. Zoom making money. Zoom made money this pandemic. I know that.
Money.
Oh my God. I was like, yo, I want to jump on, but I need that like Martha Stewart tip of when to get out. Because as soon as like we're done, it's gonna skyrocket. It's gonna like just
For real.
You might
man.
actually make that sound in the stock market. Just
For real. All right, yo, go ahead, Pam. I'm sorry I had to say that.
That's okay. I just wanted to take the opportunity to mention the George Floyd issue. I know it's been all over social media. So he worked as a security at a restaurant. He was 46 years old, and he passed away Monday. While being arrested, he was held down by a police officer in Minnesota by the knee on the neck. And they suffocated him, and he passed. So I know we have a lot of people on. I know everyone wanted to talk about it, so I had to bring it up and open the floor so we can have a discussion. Brandon, please go first.
please. You know who I was going to start first.
Brendan, you got to open up, bro. You have to.
You know, it's so interesting that you hit me this morning, E, and was talking about it. And I had made Instagram TV video before this so I can get all my cursing out, like just like Cash said. But you know, really and truly, this is the second time within 45 days that the new Villa Empire is talking about the death of an unarmed melanin king or queen. And when it really comes down to it, it's a bunch of us on right now and we all want to talk. But when it really comes down to it, what are we going to do next? What is the action going to be? And trying not to sound like I am, going off the rails or becoming radical, as they like to call us. You think to yourself, and in your prayers and so on and so forth, you think, maybe this is the reason why this country does not praise Malcolm X and they praise Martin Luther King Jr. respectfully. Because the one who suggests no violence, no retaliation, will always be praised in the eyes of the oppressor. But, doing a lot of thinking and a lot of praying, and a heavy praying over the last 24 hours, I realized that everything's going to be okay because there is no strength like the oppressed. There is no strength like the oppressed. And like we talked about before, there is so much beauty in the fragile fighter. There is so much beauty in the fragile fighter, and we need to come together. And I'm not talking about social media thugging. I'm not talking about social media activism. I'm talking about requiring these cowards to address you as king or queen. Because I tell you what, now end my segment with this so everybody can say their 2 cents. I'm not trying to be a martyr. I'm not trying to be anybody who gets praised or accolades or anything like that, but I guarantee you guys will probably have been doing an RIP episode for me if I was in Minnesota. Not to say I was gonna commit any violence on any of these cops, but if I saw that unarmed man who was handcuffed being murdered, I would have did something. I would have rushed the cop. I would have, whatever the case is, and you guys know what would have happened to me, but that's okay, because once a community gets the fever of hope that their situation does not have to be in the hands of their oppressor, that's when they need to watch out. So that's my 2 cents.
Word, yo.
Well said, man. Beautiful word.
That's what it is.
You're kind of talking about like the barriers that are in the way moving forward, and I think that that's one of the things. You brought it even back to like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and their conflicting ideologies of how to move forward, right? So that's what I literally was just talking to this to Jamel, to my co-host of my other show about this. I was like, yo, black people have not been able to connect on the message to send on how we collectively want to move forward. And that's the biggest problem, is that we have to unite on something. to say like, yo, we're gonna, you know, mobilize and come together and get what we all really want. We all want the same thing. It's just we can't agree on the method of accomplishing that goal. So I think that that's our biggest problem. Now, there's nothing I don't think that really the only thing that could stop what happened up there in Minnesota and Minneapolis is to not hire people like that in the first place. When you watch that video and you see this man with 200 pounds, he probably was, knee on this man's neck for over 5 minutes.
So
as
frustrating.
He is literally, you could hear it. I watched the video start to finish a couple times already. And you could hear his voice get the panic. You could hear him like, yo, I'm not feeling right. Like he's saying, you're going to kill me. You're going to kill me. That's like the last things he was saying. I can't breathe. You're going to kill me. You're going to kill me. And for that dude to sit there, he had his hands in his pocket. He's like smirking. The dude is standing in front of the camera trying to say, oh, this is why you don't do drugs, kids. Like, I look in those little things. Like, if you could do that, you have to, there are signs that are in that, of that type of person before something like that happens. You could look somewhere back in this dude's past. If they're actually doing their due diligence when they hire a guy like that, you can look and see that this dude doesn't have something. He lacks the compassion. He lacks the just overall just human sense that just like, oh, I'm a cop. He said I'm supposed to be helping people. He says he needs help. Maybe I took it a little bit overboard here. And that's the thing. After the fact, they're still just dragging my man around. He's foaming from the mouth, arms flailing, still cuffed. It was 4 cops and 1 dude and he was cuffed. How much of a threat really is you? That you gotta keep your knee on this man. That just shows you they don't care, yo. They just don't care, and that's like the most frustrating. It brings so many emotions to me. It's frustrating. It's saddening. You feel a sense of helplessness, almost. Because I just prayed that, like, yo. I told my friend the other day I was with my boy Cody. Shout out to my man Cody, and we were out driving around and stuff like that on last Friday night, and I said. Like he like joked with me like, oh, there's a cop behind him. I was like, oh yeah, and like even though I didn't have nothing in the car, I wasn't doing anything wrong, I still panicked, like just to the thought of getting pulled over, because I know that could be it for me. And it's only gonna take something so small. So it just, I don't know how we move past that, yo. I don't know how it ever changes that. I don't know if even my kids in their generation, their entire lives, that a whole lifetime of mine and theirs, if this will be ever over. I don't know.
Vanya, what's your thoughts on this? Because you had some beautiful words earlier today, man, and we had to repost it on New Villa Radio. So
for real,
I would like to hear your thoughts on this situation.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about the same thing. Like it's just exhausting. Like getting on Facebook, getting on whatever platforms, like saying how we feel. It keeps happening over and over again. And I've had that thought of like, yo, like, what do we do past this? Like, besides airing our frustration on social media, like, what do we do, you know? And I think, yeah, like what I posted today, I just saw this video of this guy, this Christian rapper, Lecrae, that was talking about, you know, it's okay to be upset. Of course we're upset, we're angry, but not allowing, you know, bitterness and anger to fester and take root in our heart. I think for me, that's been the battle over the past like day, or even not even day, but since these things have been happening, is just so like
hard.
It's so hard. And it's like, you know, just trying to fight to, you know, just not be filled with hatred, basically. But it's like when it's so clear that these officers have they just did not even care about his life, just no regard for human life, period. Like I was watching this other video from a different perspective and he was like, he literally said, please let me stand. I can't breathe. Let me stand.
Not an aggressive request. Can I just sit up?
Exactly.
Can you get off my neck and I can sit up? That's it.
And he wasn't even being aggressive or anything. Yeah. He just asked, please, can I just stand?
Yeah, right. Carry on with your arrest. Bring me to jail, but let me just sit up. I'm not trying to die today.
That's it. And like the fact that you like didn't even like that meant nothing to you. Nothing.
And that's his job. That's why he gets paid. As a police officer, that's what they swear to do, to protect and serve, to protect people. Tell me what of his actions was protecting that man or serving the community.
It makes you
He
think
didn't get this dude. This dude was not out there selling heroin.
Yeah, go ahead, Rosie.
No, I was gonna say it makes you question the training that the officers are getting. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't happening. Not all careers. This isn't going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, It must be something in the training, because it's too many cops that are aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like, or are they hiring just aggressive people?
Overly aggressive people.
You know, like, it doesn't make any sense.
And why are they so militarized now? Like, why does it feel like every time it seems like everything is like a freaking mission to, like, you know, like they're going out and just treating regular people like every single person is not, you know, El Chapo, yo. Like you tackling this dude on him like literally like he's El Chapo or Pablo Escobar, and you just caught this dude with like 2 tons of cocaine or something like that. Like, it's crazy. They on him like that. All the dudes try doing, like, it's the same thing as like when Eric Garner was selling cigarettes or CDs or whatever. Like, it's not even that serious.
So it goes back to slavery. Think about it like this. If you have wronged somebody, regardless of what you choose to admit or not, if you have wronged somebody, there is going to be a disruption in your spirit constantly. You are going to know in the back of your mind, because it will never leave your lips, you're going to know in the back of your mind that you have wronged this person and your actions are wrong. So you are going to walk around with anxiety all the time and anger all the time. So I've never been a police officer or gone through, so I'm not going to speak to their training. However, based like you said, based on their heightened sense of aggression towards us, there has to be some kind of mandate, right? Has to be, because why would you go out of your way to be aggressive towards me? And I know my fiance prays all the time for me because I'm hot all the time. I'm wild, aggressive, and
you're a big dude,
right? And I'm not turning that off. I'm not turning that off when I'm in the face of the police, because I took an oath to protect the American Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic.
Facts.
So, you know, and to address what you said, Cash, you know, think about the mall cop who gets aggressive with the 16-year-old boy because he didn't pass the police exam. Now, put that ideology to the local PD police who didn't get into the military.
That's facts.
Or the state police or the FBI.
Or the feds, or you know what I mean? So I think, it goes back to slavery. Like, you're going to beat up a kid because he got a dime bag on him? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And
just show how tough you are, show how good you were with combat.
Right.
And they beating him to death, literally.
Literally beating him to death.
To death.
This was in the daytime. Again, the same time as like, yo, they're doing it in the daytime in plain sight. Other black people. Like, they're letting you know, like, I'm telling you, like it's like you said, there has to be some type of, they don't say that there's a profile or mandate. They'll never admit to it. But we don't know what goes on inside their meetings in the morning.
We'll never know.
He sends them out, when their chief or their captain or their lieutenant or their sergeant sends them out, deploys them all over the city of Minneapolis, we don't know what they're saying in those meetings. And the worst part about this whole thing is, because there were 4 cops involved. The worst part about it is, even if they wanted to come out and say that was wrong, they would get shamed within the police department. Because it's crazy. Isn't that something? Cops come to your neighborhood after a person gets shot. What do? They ask everybody in the neighborhood, hey, we need your help. Tell us what happened. Did you see anything? But every time a black man gets killed by 4 other cops sitting around, they don't got nothing to say about that. They can't. They trying to hide the stuff. They try to. We didn't find out about Ahmaud Arbery until 2 months after it happened.
Yeah.
They're trying to hide that stuff.
3 months
after it happened. So that's the biggest problem.
March, April,
it's that Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, Green Lives Matter, whatever. That blue code of silence is the most dangerous thing out here. That's one of the biggest harms to black people out here, because they know that they could kill you with anybody around and watching and get away with it. the narrative's gonna be in their favor.
It wasn't like they were doing it on the low. Like the camera was in.
He was posing.
Posing.
You know, like he wasn't trying to hide anything.
I was gonna say that, Pam. They looked at the camera.
Like
yes. They were like, "Go ahead, film it. What you gonna do?"
Yeah.
And they filmed it.
And then yelling at them, back at the people, like taunting them while they're doing this to this dude. And all the people are saying, you got him, bro. He can't breathe.
Yeah.
Get off his neck.
Go ahead, Mike Lark.
Yeah. A lot of people fear the power of what dark melanin carries.
Amen.
There is so much, like, with history, and just because this whole country is built on violence since the beginning.
Yep.
We had touched base about this seasons ago, and it's like there's a lot of people filled with hate, and once you get a little power, it's abused.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So these people are out here because they fear, and they feel that they have, the right to do what they have to do to subdue someone, even though that video, I watched it once. I will not click on it again because I am not going to be that person who helps view it, because these people get paid off of clicks. These people get paid off of views. Paid off of shares. I'm not sharing that negativity. I'm not adding to that negativity.
Do you think it desensitized it a little bit? The amount of times you see it? For everybody.
Absolutely.
That's another barrier too, Brendan. Moving forward is how desensitized kids, people are. Because you can literally just be scrolling through Instagram and find 3 separate black people getting murdered in 3 separate parts of the country, and it is just a 58-second video, and you just move on with your life like you didn't just see somebody get murdered.
Sure.
Like it's literally like a movie.
Because now people think it's the norm. It's like, oh, it's okay. It's not okay. First off, it's a human life.
Did you also watch the video with the dog, with the girl?
Oh my God, Amy Cooper
walking her dog.
That's her name.
Fired.
Like, call the police. He's like, call the police. Like, I'm not. All he asked her to do was put her dog on a leash. Like,
Pam,
he said.
So Pam, you want to hear the crazy thing about that story? So that lady's name is Amy Cooper. She has since been terminated. She works at a school too in New York City. But the gentleman that she was saying as a big scary black man, guess what he is? He is a 57-year-old Harvard graduate with a degree in communications from Harvard. So it doesn't matter that you have a degree from Harvard or Yale or Princeton or whatever. If you black, they will use your blackness as a weapon against you. She knew if she called the cops.
She knew.
That specifically, not there's a man taping me, that if there's an African-American man taping me, she knew exactly what's going to happen.
She didn't even have to say that. There's an African-American man threatening my life.
That's putting every single African-American man in the park in danger right now.
Agony when she called.
No, the whole performance. She's like,
You want Hollywood right there.
While she choking the dog. The dog was in danger.
Her own dog didn't even like her.
Like watching the dog the whole time. I was like, that poor thing.
That's all I was watching. Like her horrible performance, I was off that. But that dog, that poor dog.
That dog
he's
didn't even like
around.
her.
She's like trying to grab. I'm like, yo, get off the phone. And the thing is, you want to know what is illegal in Central Park? Not having your dog on a leash. But you know what's not illegal in Central Park? Bird watching, which this dude was doing. It had been doing for years now, he said, since he lived in New York City. And it's just crazy to think that happens. Like, yo, she was so offended. Her privilege was so tested that she couldn't be told by this man, this black man, you're telling me what to do to put my dog on a leash? You don't tell me to obey the law. Like, what? Yo, what world are we living in?
That's like the most innocent thing anyone could be doing.
Bird watching, right?
Bird watching, bro. And you can't even
black people stuff.
You can't even bird watch while black.
That's
crazy.
That's crazy.
Add that to the list of stuff that we can't do. We can't do it, brother. Can't bird watch now. It's like everything else.
It's crazy.
What was you saying, Mike? What was you saying?
I was gonna say, like, I was listening to this online church service, and they were saying about the definition of darkness. You know, and I know they always associate darkness with people of color, and the term that popped up was ignorance. And I took that as like, wow, okay. They figure history. There's been a few hiccups where it's not only there's been ignorance in the Black community, but there's been ignorance in every single type of community. But it sticks with us because of the color of our skin. So the minute someone says Black, they figure, okay, there's someone ignorant and violent, and they are going to proceed with force to subdue the situation, even though probably not even doing anything. We're bird watching,
right?
Bird watching. Like Trump said, literally the most innocent thing you could be doing.
That's
sitting in the park, looking at birds. That is threatening to them.
And that's threatening. Like
that is so depressing, yo.
He almost lost his life. Who knows?
Think about people like me and Brenda. We be turned up out here. Now, she would have been terrified of me.
Oh yeah.
I'm out there dancing, yelling, doing cartwheels in the park.
That's
probably
crazy.
Smoking.
Wow.
But, yeah.
But thank you everybody. You guys all had good takes, man. This has to stop, man. It has to stop. Let's just keep praying for us, man. Pray for the culture, man. It's sad, man.
It's exhausting, man.
Once again, it's the We Break Silence Show. E. Charles, Pamela, Rosario, Cash Walking, Vanya, Rosie's here, Mike's here, Tron's here, Brendan's here. New Villa reunion season finale. About to play a powerful record by Josh, and we'll have Ask Yourself. Vanya, do you want Pam to do Ask Yourself? Because your phone is like on and off, or you think you got it?
Pam, you can take it, just in case.
Just in case.
All right.
I think. Were you asking her, or were you telling her?
Pam does do Ask Yourself. I meant read the comments.
Read the answers.
Yeah.
And then you read your own answer.
Brendan, read your own answer.
Yeah.
Because it'd be long, yo.
It's a good long though, man. It's a good long.
Yeah, it's
we need
a good type of long.
It's short though this time. It's not long.
Nah.
Yeah. It's like a short. Brittany seen y'all comment and she was like, "You need to stop writing these essays."
Yo, we about to play this Josh record called "Promised Land," and we'll be right back. We Break Silence Show, New Villa Radio. Let's go.
Yes, sir.